Welcome to the SDR Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Klusman. According to recent industry data, the average on target earnings for SMB account executives is $4,500 higher per month than that of SDRs. And what's crazy about that is that LinkedIn is full of SDRs stuck in their roles for like 2, 3, even 4+ years. And so my goal is to help SDRs make the jump to AE as fast as possible. And so on this podcast, I interview successful account executives to uncover how they made the jump from SDR to AE, sharing the right moves to make and what to avoid, all to help you land that promotion in under 18 months. And so today we're diving into a success story with Michael Jewett. He was an SDR at Samsara for just, I think, 14 months before promoting to a commercial AE there, and which is an incredibly impressive timeline. So how's it going today, Michael?
I'm doing terrific. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you. All right, so first question, what made you get into tech sales?
Yeah, so what made me get into tech sales? I never really knew I wanted to get into sales until my senior year of college. Previously, I was interning for my congresswoman, and I was big into politics. And I remember just going door to door, knocking on doors a lot of the times throughout my high school and college career. And I definitely learned to handle rejection. Got the door slammed in my face more times than I can count. Um, and so ultimately, though, I realized I wanted to be able to control my own destiny,
Hmm.
and I wanted to make more money than what I would be making in politics there. And so I figured, why not get into sales? Um, and so then I actually started off at AT&T, um, the sales development program right after college. And then I quickly learned that there were a few other people that were at AT&T that transitioned to Samsara. And
Hmm.
so that's what made me all of a sudden look at Samsara. And then I landed on them, got the offer, and I just went with it. And I knew that they were the leader in the space. Um, and, my first 2 months there, I definitely struggled when I was in outbound, but then the rest is history, and we can get into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see like in politics, I see you can get some extra mansions, but you kind of have to play your cards right. In
Yeah.
there, sales is definitely a more guaranteed route and probably a cleaner route to money. But
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. But that thanks for the context. And then just to kind of follow up on that, I'm just curious, like, what drives you today? Like, I know it, for and maybe it's the same thing, but like it seems like at the time it was just realizing like, hey, you have a more control of your destiny, and Samsara is a better company than AT&T. But as far as like in the what gets you up in the morning today, like what drives you?
yeah. The biggest thing that drives me is always trying to improve and be better than I was the day before, which definitely isn't always the case.
Hmm.
But also the biggest factor, and for why I'm in sales is ultimately to be able to increase my income and not to have to worry about finances and
Hmm.
you know provide for a future family of mine,
Yeah.
and to get into real estate and to be able to really live life on my terms.
Yeah.
And I realized with sales, I mean, if, I can really control that. I don't have too many other people dictating
Hmm.
my success,
Yeah.
and I there's not too many excuses that I
Hmm.
can make up. For the most part, it's all on me, and I found that the better my mindset is,
Hmm.
the more money I'm going to make, and the more success that I'm going to see in my career.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. What's your ideal retirement age?
Oh man, if I could retire by 30, that would be ideal. That probably won't happen,
How
but
how old, how old are you? How old are you now?
I'm 24 right now.
All right, on. All right.
Um,
Crazier things have been done.
but yeah, I mean, if I would assume though, if I retired too early, things would definitely get boring.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'm sure I'm going to keep on working until I'm at least 60, 65, I would
well,
imagine.
it's good to have lofty goals, but that's a
Yeah.
that's a, no. Okay, getting into the jump from SDR to AE, I guess, did you know, like, right when you started as an SDR at Samsara that you wanted to become an account executive, or were you kind of like thinking about, CSM or other type of routes?
It's funny because when I first started, yeah, I did not think that I was ever going to be able to become an AE
Wow.
at Samsara, let alone any other company. So yeah, just remember if there's any point in time where you're doubting yourself or you're doubting your future at your company, or if you can become an AE, just remember it's more than doable because I can't tell you my first 2 months when I was an outbound ADR,
Hmm.
how many days I just wanted to throw in the towel and quit and get,
Hmm.
let's say, any other job. I knew if I quit, I wasn't going to be in sales. So
Hmm.
I just didn't even think sales was for me.
Hmm.
Um, and then really what helped me get over that huddle was my started my third month as an ADR
Hmm.
in the outbound role. I realized, you know what, I'm done trying to figure out if I can do this or not. I want to go all in, and I invested in a sales coach
Hmm.
uh, with Justin J. Johnson. And I kid you not, that very first week when I started, everything fell into place.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
that was just due to fixing my mindset because beforehand I just had a scarcity broken mindset.
Hmm.
And I didn't think that there was enough opportunities in the books that I was working with. And I had plenty of self doubt. And then as soon as I started that program, I just realized, okay, why am I
Hmm.
worrying about this? What is there to worry about? And as soon as I just got over that hump and I fixed my mindset and I started having a more positive
Hmm.
mindset, as soon as I started becoming more grateful for what I did have,
Hmm.
believe it or not, everything took care of
Huh.
itself
That's
there.
that's super interesting. So, uh, I did not expect that, but that's like super insightful. So, what was like the root of your, I guess, it sounds like you hinted at it, but in those first 2 months, what was the root of your stress slash anxiety slash hatred of the job? Was it just like a feeling like you'll never be successful? You hated cold calling, or like what specifically was the
Yeah,
or a combination of
I
it?
definitely didn't love cold calling, and
Hmm.
then also not knowing if I was going to hit quota or not.
Hmm.
That would just stress me out day in, day out.
Hmm.
And turns out I did hit quota
Hmm.
on the last day of each month there. So everything did play out.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was just stressing out over nothing, and I realized that was only making matters worse.
Yep. Yep. Anxiety
Or
will never help. Yep.
also worrying about, oh, what do my AEs think about me when I'm making cold calls? Worrying about what does my manager think about me when I'm making cold calls? And then once I realized my AEs are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. They're making cold calls.
Hmm. Hmm.
And once I just stopped worrying what other people on my team were thinking about, and once I
Hmm.
just started focusing on just actually making the damn call and not overthinking things,
Yeah.
that's when my confidence just just went through the roof, and things went off
Hmm.
from there.
That's super interesting. Did this company, did they are you still using them, or was it just for a short period of time, this coaching company?
I went through it for 6 months,
Okay.
but yeah, definitely, definitely one of the best decisions I could have ever made.
You reach out to
If
them, or they reach out to you, or how'd you hear about them?
I reached out to them, yeah. I reached out to Justin J. Johnson, his sales program,
Okay.
and yeah, I just went all in on it. And yeah, I realized, investing in myself, that was
Yeah,
really one of the most powerful things that I could have done. Um,
absolutely. How much was it, if you don't mind me asking, the program?
yeah, it was 6K for 6 months.
Okay. I mean, you got your,
Uh,
I won't spread your OTE and what you made on this live, because I don't want to expose that, but based on what you've already told me you made at Samsara, that's more than covered itself.
yeah, definitely paid for itself,
Yeah,
easy.
the ROI is there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Alex Hormozy, but he always talks about don't invest in the S&P 500, invest in the SME 500. So a little corny, but
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
true.
good advice. Okay. And then just getting into like what was needed at Samsara to promote. Um, like what were the actual? You went from I think one. If I saw on LinkedIn, you were a certain SDR and then a different kind of SDR. But more specifically on like the SDR to AE promotion, like what was required there, like the
Yeah, it
process at Samsara.
was 12 months in seat as an outbound ADR, and then also being above the role average for the past 3 out of 6 months, or maybe, yeah, at least above the role average for the past
Something like that.
three out of the 6 months. You had to
Meaning
be above the
meaning better
role
than the
average.
average, better than the average SDR, basically,
Yeah.
or ADR. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So
yeah, with
minimum 12
Samsara,
months.
yeah, they do a good job with trying to promote people quick.
Yeah. Seems like it. I
And
mean, the average
yeah,
is like 18 to 24 months, so 12 months is huge.
definitely.
And so for you, it was just like, just so I understand, you said, is it 12? What was the first job also outbound, or is that like an inbound for first couple months?
Yeah, the for my first month and a half
Hmm.
when I was at Samsara, that was an inbound role.
Okay.
And then after that, it was an outbound role.
Okay. Okay. And just to clarify, the stress you were having, was that from the inbound or the outbound side of things? Like, did that start with the inbound or did it start when you did outbound?
I was still a little stressed out on the inbound side. Now I don't know why, but yeah, definitely more so on the outbound side. I was
Gotcha.
uh, just too stressed out, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of what I was doing was just not revenue generating activities. I was overthinking. I
Hmm.
would spend, an hour plus on a personalized email when they might not even read the email.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's funny because uh, the I was probably that my first 2 months, I was probably working, I want to say 60 hours a week,
Hmm.
I felt like. And I just couldn't put the laptop down, and I was
That's
just
crazy.
fixating on things and or doing admin work.
Hmm.
Whereas really what I needed to do was just pick up the phone and
Yeah.
make the dials and send out the emails and not
Do the
overthink.
work.
And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I was working less and less and less, and I won't say uh, how many hours a week I was working, but it wasn't too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great, dude. Man, that's like it's crazy what a mindset. Like so much of this job, and honestly, all jobs is pretty mental. But it's pretty impressive, and it just makes me wonder as we're talking, like how many people, SDRs who gave up in sales because they were at a really crappy company, or they just like had mental hurdles that they couldn't get over, and they concluded sales wasn't for them. Like how many people like have missed out on like life-changing careers because of like a bad blip. And I'm glad that I got to talk
exactly.
to you and you were able to overcome it. Okay. I was going to ask you about the major challenges you face as an SDR, but you kind of covered that. So, I would have never guessed that you had those challenges because when I saw your LinkedIn, your stats were pretty impressive. Um, and you said you had to be in the top half, basically, right, of SDRs in order to promote, right, near the end.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, I meant to ask, was that 12 months oh, you said 12 months outbound. So you did the inbound for a short while and then minimum 12 months outbound to promote.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
hit that right on the
exactly.
12-month mark. You hit
Yeah,
that
and
basically.
it's crazy too because I kid you not, my first 2 months, I was towards the bottom
Dang,
of
really?
my org. Probably one of the bottom ADRs on my team, and then next thing you know, I was number three and the whole org.
Mm,
Uh, out of I don't even know how many ADRs. Um, so things can shift so quickly.
yeah.
So yeah, just always remember if you feel like this isn't for you, or if you're having
Yeah.
self-doubt, just remember so many people go through that.
Hmm.
I certainly did, and I wasn't doing the best mentally. I felt like too, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, just in a week span,
Things change.
just everything clicked and changed,
Dang.
and all of a sudden I was just loving my job and loving my life too, and I felt like it's funny too because the more I drink the Kool-Aid, the better I perform as
The
well.
the Texas Kool-Aid or the Samsara Kool-Aid?
Same sense, both really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great, man. That's awesome. Well, good to know. Okay. So like, but I guess what I wanted to get into though is apart from, paying for this coaching, this like mindset coaching, what do you feel like you did differently than your peers, slash what do you think you were uniquely good at in that outbound role?
It's tough to say because that's a bit subjective. Uh,
It is.
yeah, I would say I mean, I'm sure other people do it too, but
Mhm.
standing up for all my calls and really just helped me a lot with bringing the energy. But in terms of perhaps doing something different, just not making excuses, or if an AE doesn't flip something, rather than, I could sit there all day and complain about it and
Yeah.
bitch about it to others. But once I realized, okay, you know, I got this demo no show or I didn't get
Hmm.
this flip from my AE, as soon as I just started just pretty much saying, hey, what do I need to do in order to get more
Hmm.
opportunities? What do I need to do in order to get this flips? And just producing more and getting more demos to show up.
Hmm.
Um, things took care of things
And
took
so,
care of itself
yeah,
right there.
yeah,
But yeah, just not making excuses was the difference because it's pretty easy when you're in a sales role, when you're an ADR to find reasons to complain,
hmm,
and to sit around with others and talk about how this sucks or we should
hmm.
get more inbound opportunities or we should get more flips
Always
or
something
like
to complain. Yeah,
I but just leaving that aside, um, I would say is what made me stood out
yeah,
compared to other ADRs.
absolutely. I think I found it so tempting. Like, man, we are living in like I would argue like the greatest country ever, like, working one of like the best careers ever, and it's still crazy just the human nature to find to like our human nature to like find uh the worst possible thing, and there's always gonna be something to complain about, even though you spoke about gratitude earlier. Like, we're just like beyond privileged, and so like trying to remember that is hard because we, as humans,
Yeah,
we're just always focused on the worst case, but being able to stay positive is and focusing on like and not like joining the crew of complaining is like
yeah,
huge,
exactly.
huge.
And
Well, that's a good.
then I would say the other thing that helps me too is just being more assumptive
Hmm.
and going into it with the mindset that this person that I'm speaking to, uh, they want to see Samsara, and you know, getting them on a demo isn't going to be a waste of their time,
Yep.
and knowing that there's going to be a benefit to them, and
Hmm.
just going into it with, even just selling the sizzle
Yep.
and truly believing it and having conviction and
Yeah.
what you're calling about,
Yep.
that truly went a long way
Yep.
for me.
Yep. That's so true. Like, I think the number one predictor of being successful in sales is conviction in your or being successful in a role is conviction in your product. I saw that on either Gong or somewhere when I first started as an SDR, and I can see why, because it changes your mindset from being afraid you're bothering them to like I'm actually I'm going to solve problems. I'm going to make your life better by getting
Yeah,
you this product. And then you almost, this is kind of extreme, but you almost have a moral obligation, right? And in a weird sort of sense to talk to these people. And um, as a little self plug, like I'm doing this SDR accelerator thing where I'm reaching out to SDRs and spamming many people on LinkedIn with like, hey, you want to join this community I'm like putting together. It's actually not very hard for me to reach out to these people because like I like the old me would have before in sales, like I wouldn't have done that, but like I actually believe I can help people become AEs faster. And so it's like I feel like I'm doing them a service even though it costs money, but that's a side tangent, but that's a good thing to keep in mind.
yeah, for sure.
Um, let me see. Let's see. You did mention like it sounds like it's kind of as with most SDR roles, having opportunities flipped is a significant portion of probably like success. So can you just speak briefly to like your recommendation in terms of building a good relationship with your account executive and like what impact that had on you?
Yeah. Um, it's funny because I mean, yeah, even if you were to ask the AEs that I had,
Mhm.
it's not like we were
How many did you
chatting
have?
or
How many did you
I
have there?
had when I started off, I had three,
Hmm.
and then um, a few months in, I had four.
Okay, cool. Sorry to cut you off,
Um,
but yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, my AEs were great to me. But even the first few months, it's not like everything was running smooth. I also didn't chat with my AEs a ton. I probably didn't talk to them as much as I should have.
Hmm.
I felt like I didn't want to get in their way, or just
Yeah.
I'll just let them do their thing, and I'll just figure it out. I'll just do my own thing.
Hmm.
So obviously, could have missed out on that in terms of just building a
Relationship. Yeah.
more relationship, a little bit better of a relationship with my AEs. I'm sure that would have went a even longer way.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I would say, the best relationship that I had with my AE was, um, at first he would. There were some things that maybe I set a demo for, and
Hmm.
he rejected for whatever reason, and I was confused and everything. And then next thing you know, a few weeks later or a month later, he would help me out with something, and then all of a sudden, things would get flips, and then all of a sudden we just felt, started really doing well together because, um, I would tell him, hey, what do you need from me in order to get this flipped?
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to set you X number of demos up this week, or do you want me to get you out X number of trials
Yep.
within these next 2 weeks? And, rather than me, you know, saying, hey, can you flip this for me? And
Hmm.
just asking them a question, hey, what do you need from me in order
Yeah. Yeah.
to flip? So that definitely went a long way.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then, eventually they just built a bit more
Trust.
trust in me,
Yep.
where it's definitely off the gates. I mean, I don't think many people would want me calling into their book.
Yep.
So it's not like I started off being that talented or whatever.
Hmm.
And even down the road, it's not like I was that talented, but
Hmm.
um, things ended up working
Yep.
out
Yeah.
because I, at a certain point, realized I couldn't make any more excuses.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's two things I want to touch on that you remind me of is like one, there's a lot of bad SDRs out there, and so many AEs have been burned in the past. And so to anyone listening, like sometimes it just takes time to build trust, and like you have to be diligent with that and be patient to your point. And the other thing is just like it's human psychology. Like if I mean, there's gonna be exceptions, and some AEs will like never like have your back, and that's just life, and that's fine. But like to your point, but also there's just like in general, if you work hard for people, like and you help them out, they want to help you out, and most
Yeah,
people have that level of like have like a base level of altruism, and so like you kind of leverage that, and like you like them, you want them to make money, and they like you and they want you to make money, so it's just like it's not that complicated, but it's like and it's just like a combination of working hard for them and like showing up and just like don't be an idiot. It's not that
yeah,
complicated.
for sure. Um, yeah, and then one of my new AEs, I just told him, hey, I'm gonna take care of you.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get you the most amount of outbound meetings out of any of your other AEs on your team, and that ended up holding true. And and
Worked
I
out.
just went into it with the mindset, okay, anybody that I call in his book, I'm gonna get an opportunity from. I'm gonna find a reason to get them on a demo,
Perfect.
and yeah, things worked out there.
That's all. That's epic. There you go, man. Okay. Uh, question here is like if you could go back in time as an SDR, what would you have done differently, if anything? If the answer is nothing, that's okay. But it could be like I probably wouldn't be joining a different company because doesn't get much better than that from the sounds like it. But like anything you would have told yourself or any decisions you would have made differently, anything like that?
Yeah, the biggest thing I would have done when I started is just to tell myself, quit worrying, quit stressing,
Hmm.
and that would have helped me out a lot more.
Hmm.
Um, because I kid you not, I probably, yeah, that was some of the most, those are probably two of the most stressful months of my life for no reason.
Hmm.
Whereas I totally forgot how good I had it, how good I have it, and I
Hmm.
totally forgot what I should be grateful for, and I forgot that I was working remote and working at a good company
Yeah.
and being able to live wherever I want.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about that part. And so
Hmm.
if I had to do things over again, I would just tell myself to be more grateful.
Hmm.
And then also additionally, yeah, try just talk to your AEs more, try learn from them more,
Yeah.
uh, ask to get their opinion on things more. That those would be the two things that I would go back and change.
Absolutely. And I try not to get too spiritual. Make I don't want to be the guy that's making things overly spiritual, but there actually is a verse in the Bible that says basically don't be anxious about anything, but instead basically instead be grateful and pray and along those lines. And I just think there's a recent psychology study that came out that actually I don't remember who or where it's published, but you can't simultaneously have anxiety and gratitude at the same time. It's like impossible to carry both of those things together. And so you would think that like the opposite of anxiety is like peace, but like and it's kind of true. But the cure to anxiety is gratitude. So it's good that you realize that, and it seems like it like made a pretty big impact on
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
you. Okay. What were the highest leverage activities you did as an SDR? So maybe you touched on them already, but like basically actionable tips you have for someone listening to this that maybe something that didn't require a lot of time, but like had a massive impact on um, on your role and your success. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean,
When
I
you think about it.
for sure just making the calls. Calls so much more than emails.
Yep.
Uh, got so many more opportunities just from making the calls and specifically not just calling into the main line, but specifically just going straight to the DM sometimes and going to the owner and going to the person that, most of the time you probably don't want to make the call to them because you think that they're going to tell you kick rocks or they're going to think that, uh, you know, they don't need to be talking to a salesperson.
Hmm.
But what I quickly realized is um, plenty of times the owner or the highest CM they might even give you more time of day um, than someone that's more admin lower level because I mean
They care
sure they
more.
get full calls but at the same time too um, if they've been in sales before, they've probably been in sales before if they're a business owner and they're gonna get it. And if anything, they'll hear you out and they'll
Yeah.
they'll respect you.
Yep.
And so even if you can't get them on a demo, they're at least gonna tell you what you need to do in order
Yep.
to get somebody else on a demo or to, in my case, get out a trial. So I would call these owners or decision makers and I would get them to say yes to us sending out trial gear with Samsara.
Hmm.
And then there you go. I would have my opportunity credit
Dude,
and trial credit.
I'm so glad you brought this up. Uh, it's actually very profound. Before I get into what I was going to say, do you think most of them knew? I don't care either way, but I'm curious. Like, did most of them, when you said that you're from Samsara, did they like know who you guys were, or were they more of just like, oh, tell me about what that is?
I would say we've definitely got a well-known name, and I would say a good 50, even 75% of the time, maybe people
Hmm.
know or at least have heard of Samsara.
Hmm.
But I went into it with the mindset that uh, everybody knows us, and everybody should know that we
Yeah.
are the industry leader,
Yeah.
and that definitely helped me.
Hmm.
And then I went into it with, saying, yeah, I'm assuming you've heard our name tossed around.
Hmm.
Samsara, we work with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Just going into it with the mindset they should know damn well who we are,
Yeah.
and me making this call is worth their time.
Hmm.
That helped. But I would say for the most part, they at least heard our name tossed around, but they
Yeah.
might not know all the details. They might not actually know that we are a leader in the space and we have this much innovation going on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think one point is like I have to that is it's nice to be selling a product that people know. Like that's just like, especially if
Yeah,
you're like getting started off, and like it just makes it easier. Not that like you should necessarily always look for the easiest thing, but if you're trying to get your feet wet in tech sales, it's like it's just much better, in my opinion, to start off at a company that like has a reputation, because it just like you'll just get more meetings. So that's one thing, and
for sure.
it sounds like you had a good talk track and strong conviction. But the other thing, going back to your previous point that I wanted to say, is I have a very strong thesis that not enough people like go right after the important folks that you need to be talking to. Like, and
Right.
your point about like people love being busy, but not and they look busy, but they may not be productive. And I think so many SDRs waste so much time reaching out to ancillary folks with tons of emails and tons of LinkedIn to like people who are never going to move the needle, or if they get on a call with you, you need to have two calls with them before they maybe bubble it up to their manager who ends up shooting it down. It's like you could have called 10 decision makers in the time that, or more in the time that you spent with like this person who's never moved the needle. And so I think you actually, I think, dropped like an insane amount of wisdom with that, or like, and even like, realizing that that was who you need to go after. Um, and I think the evidence is in the fact that you got promoted so quickly. And I think that's like a huge tip that I'm thankful you shared.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And plus, too, your AE, I'm sure they're gonna want
Yeah.
someone that's either an owner or a DM or somebody that has
Yeah.
some pull, perhaps a little more than somebody who's just doing admin work.
Yeah, they don't want
Uh,
to give a demo to like a gatekeeper. Yeah,
yeah, but they're gonna like that a lot more, and they're just gonna
absolutely.
have
It's just everybody wins. And it's like I think there are very strategic enterprise accounts where like sometimes you really do need to go bottom up
yeah,
to like get a strong point of view. And at Mongo, there's like a lot to that, but sometimes it's like just call it, go straight for the director of engineering. At least at Mongo. Wait, I'm curious, what is the ideal like title at Samsara that you like you would say is often a decision? I'm sure it varies company to company and size, but like
yeah,
the ideal
and
titles that were like sweet spots for you.
yeah, I was a mid-market ADR.
Hmm.
So we were typically working with companies that have anywhere from 30 to 150 vehicles, and but yeah, typically safety manager, safety director, fleet manager, but then other times too, if even owner, or operations director.
Makes sense.
And in my case now, being in commercial, most of the time I'm going to try to go for the owner if I can.
Yeah, I think it's wise, and it's like just go straight to the heart, and if they tell you no, then you know, and you move on.
Yeah,
So that makes sense.
exactly.
That makes sense. Um, as a side note, I know we're coming at or we're past time, but I think Samsara is like is such a cool piece of technology. I don't know it as I'm sure nearly as well as you, but I do have like I think the next wave of AI is like the intersection between hardware and software. And
Yeah,
so, and it's like everyone's trying to do this LLM stuff, and it's like cool, but they all kind of, I feel like, kind of come reduced down to the same type of thing, whether you use ChatGPT or Gemini. But then the ability to integrate that with hardware is going to be like the differentiator, and like I think going to be the next wave. So I think you're in a amazing, amazing place. Okay, last question is, and it doesn't necessarily need to be in terms of pipeline generation, but the world of AI, like I just mentioned, the world of AI is changing things very quickly, and we need to, as sales reps, I feel like stay on top, stay ahead of the curve. Um, and so, how are you using AI today, whether that be pipeline generation or something else? Like, if you have a tip for anyone listening, like, um, or I guess just like, yeah, a way that you use AI to make your job easier or better.
Yeah, I probably don't even use it as much or as efficiently as I could, but a lot of the times what I use it for in my day to day is if I'm about to make a cold call, I'll quickly pull up Chat GBT or even Samsara. We have Samsara GBT.
Like every
But
company.
either way, I'll throw it into one of those and I'll say, hey, uh, I'll just go to the company website. I'll copy that, paste it into Chat GBT, and say, hey, who are some other companies that Samsara works with in a similar space or in the same region,
Hmm.
and then in that way I can quickly name drop those companies, and then
That's smart.
emails. I'll say I won't 100% rely on it for emails all the way, but I'll
Hmm.
try to get some inspiration. Say, hey, give me a case study on Samsara and how we helped with X, Y, and Z, and then I'll see what GBT has to say and maybe pull out a sentence or two to
That's
paste it
smart.
into an email.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you're basically saying like if I'm calling, I don't know, a tractor supply company, that's probably massive, but like calling tractor supply company, you might just in chat and they're not yet a customer, then you would like put them in ChatGPT and ask them basically like who are competitors of theirs that are already using Samsara basically, like that type of thing.
Or put in, I'll copy the company URL, slap it into Chat GBT, and typically say, what are some similar companies related to this company that Samsara already partners with, and who Samsara already has as a customer
Okay. Yeah, so basically a competitor.
in a similar region. Yeah.
So maybe
And
competitors and like showing them the names, sorry to cut you off, but like names that they would recognize that are using your
yeah,
technology
exactly.
that would give them like the FOMO.
Yeah, competitors for them. Yeah,
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 not competitors, I'm
exactly.
sorry. Dude, that's man, I'm so glad I asked this question because like I just added this in and I want to start asking it more. And I think it's just like that's like a small, I guess it's a small lift on your end, but like, dude, I imagine that makes so many people's ears perk up, uh, on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. It's funny too, because I was better at booking demos
Hmm.
when I was an ADR compared to uh, currently when I'm an AE. And I think part of that is when I was an ADR, I was going to find any excuse or any reason to get the person I was speaking to on a demo.
Yeah,
Whereas now I'm trying to qualify them.
yeah, you need it to actually close instead of just be human. It makes sense. That's like that's what you get with like that's why the incentives are important. The incentive structure is important. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, those are all my questions. Really appreciate the time, Michael, and thank you for the time on the evening. I know you said it's the end of the quarter this month, so best of luck with all that stuff. But yeah, really glad to have you on, and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, appreciate you, Thomas. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much for checking out the SDR Accelerator podcast. If you're interested in receiving personalized guidance to help implement what was discussed on the episode, feel free to check out the SDR Accelerator School community. You'll get personalized sessions to help you map out your career and life goals, weekly Q&A sessions, workshops, AI consulting, accountability groups, and access to some of these account executives I'm interviewing, as well as myself. You can check out the link in the description below and hope to see you soon.